Hello, my loves, and welcome back to Create Your Life. My name is Simone, and I am your host. And today I want to talk to you about the difference between stillness and stagnation. Recently, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and we were talking about the difference between stillness and stagnation. Now, there is a difference there. So if you go and see a pond of water and it's all brown and gross and it's like murky and like you can just tell the water hasn't moved. There's stagnation there. The water hasn't moved. It's gone and turned yucky and it's gross and ugh. Or you go to another pond and the water is clear, but it is so still. But you can see that there is stillness there, but it's not stagnant, because if it was stagnant, the water would have turned. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because a lot of the time people think about stopping and being still as though it's a bad thing, as though it's something that they shouldn't do, as though being still is not moving, but in a stagnation way, in a way that's not going to be good for them. However, I feel that it is important to acknowledge that the opposite is almost, or is true for me at least, that if I want to be creative or I want to create something, if I'm rushing around doing all of the time, and then I try and be creative, I can't do it because I haven't allowed myself the stillness to come back into where I need to be able to move forward. And I think that a great example of this that you can see and that everybody should know or probably knows about is in health and wellness. So everyone will be like, I go to the gym, I go to the gym, I go to the gym. But there's a part of you that knows there needs to be a day off. And obviously people who are like training competitively and all of that sort of stuff, they might have a set routine, but everybody always knows you need that day off to rest your body. And I tend to notice for myself that I come back stronger the next day after the day of rest, because I've allowed that stillness in my body. And when it comes to your energy and your vibration and your soul and your mind, you still need to allow that stillness. Okay. So it's like, we're all like, we go hard, we train at the gym, and then we allow ourselves a rest day of our body. But we still need to allow that rest day for our mind, our emotions, our feelings. We still need to have that time where we come back into stillness throughout our lives. And I find for me, it's that thing that they say, and it's so true, that if you don't have time to meditate, then you need to meditate for twice as long, because that's so true. Because you will find that if you're meeting that stillness and actually coming into that stillness, everything else seems to flow so much better. And so I really want to give you guys permission to find time in your day for that stillness. Now, it doesn't have to look the way it looks for me. It could look different for you. But for me, stillness is meditating or listening to certain types of music, like sound healing type music, that sort of thing. That is stillness for me. Having a bath is stillness for me. Just lying down and closing my eyes with a timer set for 10 minutes, that is stillness for me. And all of those little things, even if I was only to do one of those a day for 10 to 15 minutes, that stillness is what helps me to continue with the going of life, you know? And so I think a lot of the times we get caught up into this path of doing, and I can't stop. If I stop, then I'll be stagnant, and I don't want to be stagnant. No, if you stop, you're just going to be having some stillness. And it's kind of like when you're going and going and going and you're running, and not running, but you're running around and energy's going out, it's going out, it's going out, it's going out. When you come back to yourself and you take those moments of stillness, it's those times that you actually draw energy in, and you're actually regrouping, so sort of, if that makes sense. You're kind of regrouping within yourself when you allow yourself that space. And a lot of people, they do start to do this and they feel a bit bored, and they can't even sit for the 10 to 15 minutes. And I understand that, because I was exactly the same when I first started meditating. I either had to be really in the mood, or it was like 5 minutes. And through daily practice of stillness in whichever form, I managed to build that up so that now I can be in stillness a lot longer for every single day, because the fact that I couldn't sit in that stillness as well showed me that I wasn't feeling that calm and that connectedness that I knew would energize me and move me forward into more expansion and growth in life. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about the difference between stillness and stagnation, because there is a difference. And I'm not saying necessarily that if you were to sit on the couch and do nothing for like a week and just watch TV, potentially, yes, that could be a form of stagnation for you. For someone else, they might be going through something, and that's actually a form of healing for them. But on the whole, having that understanding that there is a difference between stillness and stagnation is a really fine distinction of self-awareness that is really beautiful to hold within yourself. So I know that if I'm watching a movie, I'm like, all right, well, this isn't stillness. And I know that, you know, I can't lump that into the same thing as meditation. But having that awareness of knowing that those 15 minutes that I do meditate, that is stillness, and I do need that. And that is something that makes me feel better, and it makes me feel more energized. It makes me feel more connected, and it makes me feel more grounded and able to take on the day. So just developing that within yourself and learning to give yourself the permission to have that space every day for 10 to 15 minutes to just connect within and be in a state of stillness, whatever that looks like for you, is just so important to being able to go about your day. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. It was so beautiful to bring it to you. Let me know what you practice as your forms of stillness. Obviously, I've mentioned things like meditation, sound healings, just lying down, having a bath. There are a lot of ways to cultivate stillness. I also do something called Qigong, which is kind of like a bit like Tai Chi, but a bit different. That cultivates stillness. Yin yoga cultivates stillness. Let me know some of the ways that you cultivate stillness in your life, because I'd love to hear them. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to connect again soon.